for Arizona governor. You were also at that memorial service for Charlie Kirk yesterday. I don't know if you could hear some of the young people speaking there, but I think that the fact that the movement will go on, did you feel that there too?
Oh yes, I did, Harris. I mean, it was so powerful. I had occasion to walk out into the crowd and talk to some people. They were fired up. This is not going away. This movement is going to be stronger than ever. Yeah, a lot of young people there, a lot of old people like myself and others, a lot of middle-aged. Oh, maybe I'm middle-aged. Okay, Harris, I'm going to take middle-aged.
Yeah,
So
I want you to back up that old.
People.
We might be the same age. No, but I hear what you're saying.
A lot of people were there, and they were just enthusiastic, Harris, and the movement's going to be stronger than ever. I really believe that's true.
You know, the importance of, and I know we kind of kid about it, but the importance of all generations being around those young people who want to carry this movement forward is that we have the wisdom to be able to help them do that. And we know what that looks like. You're running for governor of that state. It will take all of us now.
Yeah, exactly right. And we had people from all over the country that I knew that came in, and just for this event because they love Charlie. But let's just put it this way: it's all hands on deck. If you really want to save the country, it is all hands on deck right now. We see more division than ever. We see more crisis than ever. But Charlie found a way to overcome that, and he was helping to bridge the gap. And that's the message, and that's the mission.
Yeah, from both sides of the political aisle, he did that. Wow, what an example. Yeah. Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett could use some schooling on that example. Instead, she's scolding her colleagues for not voting against a resolution to honor Charlie Kirk's legacy. That passed last week, and here's exactly what she said as that was happening.
I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart. Is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was.
Look at the number of people who voted against this. 58 Democrats. And no, they're not all people of color. They voted against that resolution. That's on top of another 60 who did not bother to even show up and vote or voted present, which is like, you know, having no courage.
I just think that, and I'm glad to see it, you know, they're going to learn the hard way, because the whole racist thing is losing quite a bit of steam. I mean, you're talking about the younger crowd now that's like a joke to them. Like, they don't give a shit about you calling them racist or whatever. Like, you know, like, I mean, you're creating an environment where it's completely lost anything. It's lost everything, because people know that you're full of shit, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. Like, an insult only means something if there's something that's actually behind it. And once people realize that, well, you're just throwing that around, like that doesn't even make sense anymore. You're saying that because only 2 people of color, like, didn't, like, whatever the hell she said. Like, the fact that you have to bring that up, you lost the argument, because you're not making an argument. You're not making an argument based on anything. You literally just said, this is terrible because not enough white people voted for it, or whatever it is you're saying. You lost the argument. You didn't say this is terrible because of X and then pointed out why it's terrible, right? You just said this is terrible. You stirred up some racist stuff, and then you threw it out there into the ether, you know, hoping that people can just, latch on to that one thing, that he's racist. Yeah, just keep that going, that he's racist, that he's fascist, that he's whatever. You guys are still doing the same tropes, and it's not going to work anymore. The younger crowd has completely moved on from that.
Urge to go either way. Here's Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who led the charge against honoring Charlie Kirk.
Today's resolution only underscores the majority's recklessness by choosing to author this condemnation and honoring on a purely partisan basis, instead of uniting Congress in this tragedy. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans.
I mean, you could say, whatever you want about Charlie. He definitely was not uneducated. Yeah, if you ever start to go down the Charlie Kirk rabbit hole, which I advise to do, the guy was absolutely brilliant. He was next level brilliant. He absolutely was. He was just one of those guys where I don't know how he fit it all in 30 years, how he was able to manifest such an immense amount of information, intellect, quick wit, sharp as anything. You know, I mean, you want to take, like, if you took like a Ben Shapiro kind of like super intellectual, highly focused, like laser pointed guy, like he is, and then rounded him over with like, you know, the Christian values and stuff like that, and then life experience and, you know, growing up kind of like a normal guy like Charlie did, you know, like, you know, he didn't go to college, you know, he was just out there doing it. He was doing it day in and day out. You know, I mean, AOC, she's just saying, you know, what's probably something that somebody wrote for her. That shirt isn't very flattering either, by the way, but you know, whatever.
And sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans.
So you see that. Totally on politics. Forget about the person assassinated, people killed. What did Republicans do when faced with something similar? Well, here's how they reacted to a resolution against political violence in Minnesota. Every single House Republican voted to condemn the attacks that killed State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark.
And this is good because this is something that's always brought up, right? With the attacks of Melissa Hortman and I think it was her husband. You know, you could just see here what the difference is.
And critically injured State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, every single one. You want to talk about division? I mean, Congressman, that is disgusting. That's embarrassing, and it's disgusting for Democrats that they would see it only one way.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I managed that resolution on the floor and we had the speaker come down and we were like, this should be a unanimous vote. We think this should be a unanimous vote. We're going to condemn political violence. And by the way, their mischaracterization, their attack on Charlie Kirk, actually, it shows their ignorance and it shows their lack of goodwill and it shows their lack of willing to bridge a gap, their lack of willingness to try to resolve issues and problems and difficulties we have in the nation. That's what it shows to me, Harris. And it was really disgusting to me that so many people voted no in the first place. But then you had the yellow votes. I call those the yellow votes because they show up yellow on the board as present only. Oh. And that means that they're too afraid to cast a vote one way or the other. Shameful. It was only a minority of Democrats that voted to condemn this killer and to recognize Charlie Kirk for who he was. And what a shameful thing.
You know, you hear Jasmine Crockett. It's not the first time she's done it. Hakeem Jeffries has done it. Others do, even in leadership among Democrats. They turn this into purely a race issue. She said, oh, it was because of things that Charlie Kirk said. Yet when people listen and watch what he said, it doesn't back up fully what she's talking about. So do you feel that in the House? Because it sounds racist.
Well, I think it is racist, and I think it's unfortunate. But I mean, if you listen to Charlie was he believed that race was just a social construct. We need to move beyond that and to treat all people equally and you know, as created by God. But this notion that everything's going to be race based and every decision you make is just, that's what's ignorant. That's what's sad. And we deal with it and we move on. Yeah. But what Charlie did is he loved them anyway. That's hard.
And again, that idea is absolutely losing. It really is. You know, I have young children. I have not so young children, and I can tell you that idea is not winning with them. And it's not just because that they're around me. Although, you know, I'm hoping that I help. But the whole trope of, you know, everything just looking through the eyes of race and stuff like that. It's completely lost with them. They really don't care anymore. They don't see like that anymore. It's not. It's a point of contention still with the older crowd that still has a sense of fear if you're called out as, you know, racist, whatever. You know, but for the most part, like it is almost dead. It's fading away, exactly where it needs to be, and it's almost a caricature when they bring the stuff up now. Like it's almost funny. The fact that they think that has any more weight with the average American at this point. Everyone knows what the game is. The mask is off, the ruse is up, whatever other, you know, however else you want to say, you know, the jig is up. But yeah, nobody gives a shit anymore. You can call anybody racist, whatever you want. They're going to know exactly what you mean by that, especially if those are the first words out of your mouth and you have no argument or basis of fact behind anything other than that. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please hit the subscribe button, 6283TALK on the X if you want to follow me on X. I am John Soto, and I'll see you again in the next video. Take care.